Are you changing anything practice-wise today with the weather?
No, if it's lightning, we'll go inside, but otherwise we'll be out here.
Kevin, 3 defensive linemen weren't practicing yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Any update on what their injury status is? Any concerns?
Yeah, Isaiah Thomas, Alex Wright are going to miss some time with a knee injuries, separate knee injuries. Who's the other one you're with?
Mohers.
Was poked in the eye. He should be back.
They get hurt in the game?
Did they get hurt in the game? One guy got hurt in the game. One guy got hurt before.
When you say miss some time, could that bleed into the season?
It could.
And then we saw JOK had his hand wrapped up pretty good.
He's okay. He's fine. Yeah, he's fine.
Can you offer any more clarity on quarterback play time today?
No, well, I always like to talk to the team first about our play time. So I'll cover that with the guys when we get back in on Wednesday. We'll play some guys in this game, but I'll let you guys know as we get closer.
It looked like the defense had another good day yesterday. Is there any frustration growing on the offense?
No. Good days are good for the Browns. I think both sides are pushing each other. Again, when you're at your best, somebody wins a period, then the other side wins a period, and that's just getting good at football is really just pushing each other.
And with it seems like there's been some pressure on the side from the pass rush. So, we know that he can escape plays. So, is it hard to exactly judge whether or not he'd be able to extend it or how to handle that when there's pressure early?
Yeah, I think in the settings when you're working against the defensive line and when the defensive lineman wins clean, it's obviously going to be a sack. Now, you continue to play the play so that you can get better in your coverage elements down the field. You can get better in your routes. So there's certainly some plays where the quarterback's going to have to make a miss. Yeah. When you get into games is when you get those real live reps of when it's real football.
Kevin, Anthony and Sione both talked about kind of their bond kind of becoming stronger as they've kind of gone through this rehab process together. Can you speak to what you've seen out of those two, their relationship?
Yeah, well, I mean, two guys that are big leaders in the linebacker room on the defensive side of the ball and for our football team. They both play with great passion. They both are great workers in the weight room, in the meeting rooms, you name it. So not surprising that they bond together over those type of things. Finding out the tough guys out here, aren't we? There goes Tom Withers. See you, Tom.
That's how you weed them out.
In terms of Alex and Isaiah, those guys were really kind of coming along, showing some nice development, and again, how unfortunate just to kind of have to do without them.
Yeah, as you know, Mary Kay, injuries are our least favorite part about this game. Those guys will both be back, but they're going to have to deal with these injuries, and we'll support them as they do.
What's Harrison's injury or reason for?
Yeah, that's a medical condition. I can't really comment on it.
Kevin, I know you've talked about James Hudson a little bit. AVP praised him last week, said he's matured a lot in your career or whatever. How have you guys seen that part of his improvement?
James has done a nice job. Gives us good reps at right and left. You love the way he practices and plays, former defensive player, so he plays with an edge. But I thought he's really taken to all the techniques that Coach Peters and Coach Callahan have been working with him constantly. I think you see him taking the technique from individual into the practice periods and into the game.
We know Jim wants to rotate a bunch of guys across that D-line. So with those two injuries at end, I know you signed a guy today, but do you have enough bodies will you continue to add there?
You monitor every position, but feel comfortable with the guys that we have.
We talked to Brandon yesterday and then Jason today, and one of the things they like is those different body types in both of those rooms, the cornerback room and the linebacker room. How important is it to have guys who look different, play different, just all those different types of guys?
Yeah, they come in all shapes and sizes, and I think you've seen certainly at the linebacker position, at DB, at corner, there's guys that have won with great size and length. I think back to my days growing up with Bobby Taylor at the Eagles. He was drafted to be a Michael Irvin stopper. And then you had some smaller corners that I was around for Antoine Winfield, who was as tough as they come. So there's a variety of ways to win. So not surprised that our coaches feel that way, and I feel that same way too. At linebacker, you can have some guys that are thumpers, that are big. Been around some guys that are considered stand-up nose guards. Then you have guys that are a little bit more sideline to sideline and can win with speed and can win with power as well.
Kevin, one of the one-on-one matchups that's been somewhat entertaining to watch from the outside looking in has been Denzel and Elijah Moore. Just, the back and forth competition between them. How do you feel about that, and just how much better are they making each other?
Yeah, I thought, these guys are so competitive, and those are two great players. And they knew that we always do that with our one-on-ones. The last rep is for push-ups, and both those guys wanted to go. It wasn't going to be those two guys, and then Elijah and Denzel kind of demanded that they wanted one more rep. They're gonna go. One guy's going to win one day, the other guy's going to win the next day. It's just what you get with great players. But I think there's a great message in there for all of our players, our young guys in particular, where iron sharpens iron, and you want to go good versus good as often as you can, because it's only going to make you better.
Kevin, as far as practicing kind of in the rain and on the wet field, any concern whatsoever about a slippery track and what that brings?
It's football. you got to get used to playing in the conditions.
Coach, from an identity standpoint, are you happy where you are right now, identity-wise?
Yeah, I think you're building your identity throughout training camp and throughout the preseason. I think for us, we really focus on our work. We focus on today, and I think that builds into our identity where we don't get too far ahead of ourselves, but we want to make sure that we're keeping the main thing, and for us, that's practice today.
From the point that you got Dillon Jones in after the draft to what you saw from him Thursday, how far do you feel like he's come in this time span?
Yeah, young player coming along, had some good moments, had some moments that he needs to get better at. So I just see a young player who's a work in progress like all of our young players, but the nice part about DeJuan, he works, and you have to when you're getting coached by Coach Callahan and Coach Peters and Coach DeCoster, and with the offensive line that we have, you're going to work, and he's made sure that every day he shows up here and he's putting in that work.
Coach, going back to identity and culture, has there been like a certain phrase or catchy saying or motto that's going to get you in the locker room to kind of add into that?
Not that I know of. Those things do happen organically, but nothing jumps out to mind.
Kevin, Dan asked about the offense kind of winning sometimes, having ups and downs. How do you help them mentally balance a day where they're maybe up and then the next day they're down? I feel like that's a process, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's football. You're going to have a good quarter followed by a tough quarter. You're going to throw an interception potentially. You got to bounce back. So, one of the things we talk about a lot is resiliency, and if you don't have that, you're not going to make it very long in football, because you face tough times week in and week out, sometimes by quarters, sometimes it's every third game. The tough times are coming. You really just have to have that mentality that we're going to bounce back.
Good?
Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for sticking it out.